Welcome to the Busy Guy Show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and I'm a busy guy. I have a really, truly busy guy here today, Cavaliere Capriati, better known as Pat Capriati. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Vince.
Benvenuto. Tell me, benvenuti.
Benvenuto.
Welcome, benvenuto.
I know your Italian is pretty amazing.
I'm trying.
You're trying very well. You're doing great.
You've been called a tireless cultural advocate, a linchpin of the Chicago area Italian-American community for over 40 years, in two levels, professional and personal. What drives you to do this?
I guess in a single word, in a couple of words, I have a deep pride and love for my Italian heritage. And I spend most of my time promoting it through everything I do, professionally, socially. So it's my pride of being Italian. Such a great asset.
You were born in Italy?
I was born and raised in Italy and immigrated with my family back in January 1967 at the age of 13. And a funny story about January 1967, for those who are as old as I am, they will remember the great blizzard of 67.
Come si dice snow?
Neve.
Neve.
But it was an incredible amount of snow. And I was born in a town called Mola di Bari, where it will probably snow a half inch every 20 years. So you can imagine, it was a joy.
So when you came, did you speak any English at all?
Not one word.
No,
not one word.
And so what you learned in the schools here?
I learned English I learned English through Spanish, strangely enough. We studied at my age in Italy. We studied French. There was the foreign language which is introduced in 6th grade. Now it's English.
Nice. I was going to ask you later, but I'll ask you now. The title that you have it's knighthood in Italy.
It's knighthood. It is bestowed upon you by the President of Italy. I received the knighthood last October. It is something that I feel very proud, not personally as Pat Capriati, but for my family. It's a great accomplishment. And it's something that will stay with me forever.
And you studied at Loyola University?
I graduated from Loyola University, yes.
Helping to co-found the Italian-American Club?
Yes, the Italian Club at Loyola. I also co-founded the Italian Club in high school, started a soccer team. For some reason, I was always involved in promoting our great heritage.
And speaking of Loyola, our friend Domenica is working on, I don't know if it took place yet, but an endowment at Loyola.
Yes, yes.
And that'll be what? That's a class in Italian?
Yes, yes it is. It's major studies in Italian. And till today, Loyola University has an excellent Italian program.
Now, we talked about how you, in the professional and the personal level.
Yeah.
So one of the professional ways, you have an international business career.
Yes, for the last 30, 35 years, I've been involved in international business. First with the state of Illinois. I worked with the Illinois Export Development Authority, which was the financing arm of the state of Illinois. And at that time, Illinois and California were the only two states in the U.S. to offer an export financing to promote the sales of products from Illinois to the world.
And obviously, but this gave you a lot of opportunity to travel back and forth?
No, basically it was between Illinois and the world. Where Italy came in is I started working very closely with the U.S. Embassy in Rome, and at that time the ambassador, Peter Secchia, I invited him to speak at a conference on doing business with Italy. And Ambassador Secchia came to Chicago before going on to Washington, D.C. And a lot of my activities with the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Illinois were centered around promoting trade between Italy and Illinois. So this is how the Italian in business and my professional life working international on behalf of the Italian business community, which has continued.
Let me ask you a question, and I don't know, I'm ashamed to not know, but I know we don't have embassies here, but is there an Italian consulate in Chicago?
Most definitely, yes.
In what capacity, what do they, what do they do?
Well, basically, the Italian government has a number of offices around the world. The first is the consulate, and their duty is to represent the government of Italy in the city or country where they're hosted. Then we have the Institute of Culture, Istituto Italiano di Cultura. Their main objective is to promote culture, Italian culture, in the city or country where the office is located. We have the ENIT, Ente Nazionale del Turismo Italiano, the tourism board, and the agency of the Italian government that I work with, which is, in English, is called the Italian Trade Agency, an Italian l'Agenzia per il Commercio Estero. So we are the commercial section of the Italian embassy.
And is this the one that you deal with for supermarkets about the authentic food and wine that comes from Italy?
So I'm the senior marketing manager at the Italian Trade Commission Chicago office, and one of my latest project, and I would like to say probably my most successful project, is centered around the concept of authenticity. My job is to educate consumer as well as major retailers throughout the country, throughout the U.S., in the value of authenticity. There are many products, what we call Italian sounding, that utilize the name, colors to deceive consumer that the product is made in Italy. At times they'll utilize words such as Italian recipe, but when you pick up the package, it's not made in Italy. So our job is to promote and educate the people that there is a major difference between a product that is made in Italy, the tradition of manufacturing, and the taste is unique, and it's been very successful.
I'm going to ask you a question that you could take the food, the exact recipe, use everything the exact same down to the stove of something in Italy, and if you bring it all here, it doesn't taste as good. It doesn't taste the same. What's the deal on that? Gabi?
Yeah, I understand you exactly. Well, there's many things and ingredients that go into cooking. It's the climate, it's the water. But this is where the product comes in. The products that is made in Italy and then packaged and brought to the U.S. Will taste pretty much exactly like it is in Italy. Sometimes there are many recipes that people think that they are Italian, such as fettuccine alfredo or spaghetti and meatballs. They really don't exist.
Over there.
Or Italian beef. There's no such a thing as Italian beef. However, purchasing authentic Italian products, that's the raw material that you use, you will have a great meal which is as close as possible to Italy, dining in a...
Well, I have to share a quick embarrassing story because we were on the tour in Italy, going by the Vesuvius, and I was like, I'm going to ask the big question. And I raised my hand. I said, is this where chicken Vesuvio was invented? The lady looked at me like I was crazy.
Absolutely,
there's no such a thing. Here,
yeah, there's no such a thing as chicken Vesuvio.
So a lot of that happens here, and that leads back to you saying things
the authenticity.
Are authentic.
Yeah, the authenticity. The product must be manufactured in Italy.
I know we could sit and talk hours for you about, because you are a busy guy. So many.
You're the busy guy, not me.
It's all done with smoke and mirrors. But Ed, I don't know if you still do it now, but you were editor for Franoi, the Italian part of it.
Yes, I was the editor for 3 years of the Italian section of Franoi. It was a great challenge. Every month I had to create a page dealing with politics and culture and music. And what article I wrote my own article, so it was very interesting and challenging.
Do you get back to Italy at all now, recently, or?
Oh yes, I was in Italy 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Because of my job, thanks to my job, I'm in Italy at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Doing that, then I mean, there's so many accolades that you have. I know that one of them is setting up a, I don't know what's called, a student exchange program.
No, I was instrumental when I worked with the state of Illinois in a joint MBA program between the Cattolica University in Milan and St. Xavier University. It's very interesting. It was the first time that an Italian university would join and share their MBA program with a university in Chicago.
Nice. And there's many awards too, but I know we talked about the Capriati, the top. Is there any other ones that you did want to discuss or that you're
No,
proud of?
awards are not important. What's
You're
important
so humble.
is what's in my heart.
God bless you. And then all through this, you have time to be in a band.
I started
When
a
do you
band.
do all? When do you? How many hours do you have a day?
Well, we haven't even touched the community involvement, but let's talk about the band.
No, please.
No.
Tell
I
me
mean,
about the community.
the community
Let's have an
involved.
Italian argument. What do you think? No, tell me about the
No,
community.
some
please.
people have referred to me as the Renaissance man, and sometimes I really sleep very little, and I have to be involved in a project or create a project, whether it's promoting Italian pop music from the 60s and 70s. We had an incredible event at Altavilla last spring. We had 1,200 people for dinner and dancing. We created a new all-star Italian band called Ricordi, and the event was sold out in less than a month. 1,200 people, and we had a waiting list. But I started a band at the age of 14 called Diamanti, which means diamonds in English. We still perform. I'll be performing next Saturday. I play keyboards in a band, and the original band featured my uncle, my brother, and myself, and two friends from Italy.
Tell me quickly, you tell me briefly about how you taught everybody to get set up with the drums, the guitar.
Oh, so I really never took music lessons, not on keyboards. I played saxophone in a school band in high school.
The saxophone, a mandolin.
Exactly. Well, I played the baritone and then the alto and the tenor, all three of them. But when I started Diamanti, for some reason, I have it's maybe in my DNA. My cousins in Italy play music, and I would show the drummer how to play his part, and I would show the guitar player how to play his part, and then I played keyboards. The instrument that I never touched was the bass guitar. But music is fun.
It is.
Music is great.
Your wife was born in Italy?
My wife, Carmela, was born in Italy. We come from the same area of Italy. She was born in Triggiano, in the province of Bari. I was born in Mola di Bari, and our two towns were, it's like Chicago and the suburban. Bari is equal to Chicago. Elmwood Park, Melrose Park, Addison are the suburbs. So Mola is a suburb of Bari, and Triggiano is a suburb of also Bari. So I came at the age of 13, she came at the age of 11. We initially lived across each other, one street apart. I saw her first when she was 14, and I was
Hit by
16.
a thunderbolt.
She still is a stunning woman.
Beautiful. And you, please mention you have your two daughters.
We have two daughters, very proud of them, and our first granddaughter are my two daughters, Rosanna, who lives in California and has worked many years in fashion with Vera Wang and Carolina Herrera, and now she is with Cartier. And then our youngest, Costantina, who has a doctorate in pharmacy. And we have our first granddaughter, Alessia, 6 months old.
God bless.
Thank you.
I just learned, reading about you today, that Wooddale is sister cities with Cefalù.
Wooddale is sister city with Cefalù. Addison is sister city with Triggiano. Those are some great accomplishment because it allows young people to discover another part of the world. It's so great when young people from the old world, this is what when I think of Italy, can come over to the new world and vice versa, and see how history has played a role in their lives.
Well, it goes without saying that the entire Italian-American community, especially in Chicago, is very proud of you and thankful to you for.
I'm very proud to be an Italian-American living in Chicago.
Nice. And then we're gonna, when we come back, we're gonna tell briefly about how this a radio show that you've been doing for over 20 years.
Yes.
Domenica.
Domenica Insieme.
And how did you come up with the name on that? You told me.
The name is from Domenica In, which is the most popular entertainment show on Italian television. However, for some reason, they only call the show Domenica In. They never mentioned the entire word Insieme. So when I started my radio show, which aired always on Sunday, I wanted to use the entire name. So Domenica Insieme, together on Sunday, because this is when the Italian family comes together around the table. And the great thing about my show is the audience is from, our age group is from 6 to 94. That's Domenica Insieme, everyone, tutti, tutta la famiglia.
Bravo. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to come back with your co-host,
Absolutely.
John Conenna. We're going to talk about Domenica Insieme. So what's today? Marta, today is Lune.
È lunedì.
È lunedì insieme.
Lunedì insieme.
All right, we'll be back.
We take great pride in our work. I think that is one of the best parts about being Italian is the passion that runs through our veins. You know, it's undeniable.
The Italian-American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.
The cooking show is about cooking, but it is about the Italian culture and transmitting the Italian culture through the times from Italy, the immigrants that came here, and how it transcended, how it permeated the American culture. Italian culture is one of the greatest cultures in the world. I'm Italian and proud to be Italian-American.
The Italian-American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.
Welcome back to the Busy Guy Show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and we brought back another busy guy, John Conenna. Welcome, Giovanni. And
That's it. Good to see you again.
Pasquale Capriati.
Vincenzo,
Allora.
piacere.
Piacere. Welcome back, these gentlemen, with the show we were talking about earlier, Domenica Insieme. Okay, John, I was asking Pat how his desire to do all this, what drives him, what drives you to do an Italian-American radio show?
Well, I'll be honest. Never thought this was going to happen, and ran into Pat at a function here in the Italian community that he was at, and we talked for a little bit, and told me about if I could come to the studio he had some Italian exchange.
You were doing a fundraiser. That's
Right.
the reason you came to the show.
Exactly, and
Fundraiser
for Villa Brunetti. Yes.
For a party.
Yeah, and that was for Robert Ramosi, and Pat invited me on the show, and really liked just the whole ambiance of his show and how he was with the music and what he talked about in the Italian community. And it was about 2 weeks later, and the phone rings at 7:30. It was a day in March, a couple weeks after the show, and I answer the phone. He says, "Hey, if you're not doing anything, would you like to come back to the show?" And I says, "I would love to." I almost went there in my pajamas, Vince. That's how excited I was.
Nice. And they were what, Mickey Mouse pajamas or no?
Royal blue.
But there's a lot more to it because you have Venus Travel and you
Yes.
sell a lot of people trips to Italy.
Yes, in the
You
Italian
speak
community.
Italian.
Yes, I do my best at it. It's come a long way. And matter of fact, Domenica Insieme and Pat and
Professore.
well, he's been the professor for me. I've come a long way with it because I understand it completely. But the verbiage, the pronouns, sometimes I have a little bit of a problem with it. But I never afraid to learn the proper way.
And in all that, in your travels, no pun intended, but you have a degree in broadcast journalism.
Yes. Went to Loyola University, studied the broadcast journalism, did a lot of things here for the state, for hockey games here for the state. I've done the DePaul nights for senior night, announcing the players. I was the announcer after I was the coach there for a couple seasons. So yeah, no, I dabbled with it, so I wasn't afraid when Pat says, "Hey, this is how we do it," and went well.
And to find out more information about John, there's an entire episode of The Busy Guy with John on YouTube. So, but now tell me, first of all, when is it on and where is it on?
It's on Sundays. We have
On radio.
On the radio. We do a streaming of the show on Facebook from 8 to 10 every Sunday morning. Radio-wise, it comes on from 9 to 10 on WSBC 1240 AM for the radio listener who can listen to us from 9 to 10. But we do start the show at 8 a.m. to 10, streaming it on Facebook.
Let me jump in. The crazy thing about streaming is that our show is watched all over the world. We have messages. It's an interactive show. People are listening to us from Poland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Italy, of course, Canada, the U.S.
Now, is the show entirely in Italian?
Well, the show, when I was doing the show solo, it was entirely in Italian. And then when John joined the show, it was in the beginning 98% in Italian. But since our audience is now international, and John it's such a great chemistry. It's all improv, nothing is rehearsed. And there's so many listeners, and we know because when they send us messages, and we always say hello to them, it's in English. So more and more the show now is, we go back and forth between Italian and English, and I'll ask him to translate the things that I say in Italian. Always try to catch him off guard, but that's the beauty of the show. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's educational. We play strictly pop Italian music.
So you do play music. That's what I was going to ask.
Great music, great.
What's the format of the show?
Very modern music.
I always try to play some of the top 40 of that week in Italy, and then I'll go back. Since now the audience is such an integral part of what we do, they will give us requests, which we will play them live. So we're going back 60s, 70s, 80s, but it's pop Italian music.
And technology does have some benefits. I mean, this is a great example. You're worldwide, and not only are you worldwide, but you truly are a radio show and a TV show at the same time.
It really is.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine how anyone can be looking at a computer or a little TV monitor and phone for 2 entire hours, and they do. What were the numbers last week that we
Yeah,
drew?
we had a reach of 26,000 people reached, and we average every Sunday anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 viewers that view the show from start to finish.
It's not rocket science to figure it out either. I mean, you're saying they're watching on their phone now, but with smart TVs and all, they're watching it on, it's TV now.
It really is,
the
and it's
computer.
entertaining.
If you have a smart TV, you could Facebook it and it'll come up on your 80-inch
Well, mine's
screen.
kind of stupid, but I tell you. But yes, the smart TV,
Right,
that's
it's,
exactly what it does. And not only that, but since you are live streaming, you're getting responses in real time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people love to, when you say hello to them, wherever they happen to be, and they can see their friends, look, from the US, they're saying hello to us. It's amazing. It's infectious.
Right.
The comments are...
Every week, I mean, even 5 minutes before Pat starts up the show, we're getting comments already on the stream while
People
we're setting
can't
up in the
wait.
studio. Our sponsors, tremendous. Our sponsors are involved with us on Sundays, and that's just truly tremendous.
And I'm going to ask you both a simple question. But what do you feel is the best part about being Italian?
the best...
Italian American, because you know what, I back up on that. Because you did say how I don't know how you phrase it, but there's 2 cultures that you're very proud
As a matter of
of.
fact, in my everyday life, and also with my wife and my children, we have combined. I've lived 13 years, the first 13 in Italy, and 50 years in the US, 51. And in my life, I've combined the best of both cultures, a great Italian culture and some great customs from the US. I forgot the question.
So great.
What
What's
was
the
the
capital of
question?
Wyoming?
And also,
What about you?
Well,
What's the best part about being Italian American that you feel?
I got to tell you, just my father was from the same town as Pat, Mola di Bari, and you know, growing up with this man, he gave me a great work ethic, and I hear I had a mother that basically didn't have much education, and I had a father who self-taught himself. That gives me every day. There's a day doesn't go by where I don't think of both of them. How she was as a woman who had only had third grade education and knew the street smarts of the life, and then a man that was well booked, educated, who, like I says, I thank God every day for Vincenzo Conenna and Elisabetta Conenna.
Nice.
From Mola di Bari.
And I can tell you the best part of being Italian for me is the passion. What a capital P. It's in our blood, it's in our heart, it's in everything that we do.
And you know, there's, I'll say it again, I've said it on a lot of shows, but you know, people stereotype, you know, the Godfather, this and that and the other thing. If you take the movie The Godfather and you take out the crime and the murders and stuff, the big enticing thing why non-Italians, I believe, watch it, and Italians, is because it's a family story. It's about a man that takes care of his sons and all that stuff. And there's so much for Italians to be proud of. Family is one. I'm not, you know, preaching here, but, you know, I know that it comes from your heart as well, that
Most definitely.
opera, music, sports, it goes on and on.
He hits the big word, Pat hits the big word with the passion.
The
It's
food.
Oh. You had to go there?
The food. Now I'm hungry.
It is great. They told us that you brought us some goodies.
I did, but that's
get it
coming
at the
later.
end. Okay.
What do you see for the future then for the show?
Well, I'll answer the first. I think the show's only going to get better. I really do. I think this upcoming year, Pat is really has a vision about the show. I can see it every day when I talk to him. I think the show will only get better, and with the new technology that we approach every day, I'll tell you, people want, and I think he knows this, they would like to see us on maybe 3 hours or even twice a week.
Oh, they watch the show and replay
Right,
2 or 3,
right.
4 times a week.
We have a lady that calls me up and she says, John, I've watched this show 4 times today. I go, that's funny, I've watched it
And you
5."
have guests then?
Yeah. Oh, and we like to bring in guests, yes, into the studio.
Any
As a matter
special
of fact,
guests you have?
when you're coming back?
Oh, see, the other ones wait for that. I would love to.
We've had a few special guests, yeah.
Yeah, you have, and I mean, it's the pool of guests is
Yeah,
unbelievable in Chicago.
Exactly.
There's entertainers, there's politicians, there's
Business
on and on.
leaders,
Sports,
Yes.
business leaders.
successful
Right.
entrepreneurs.
All right, tell us again, when is the show on and where?
Sunday mornings, we stream live on Facebook starting at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10. We go radio, right to the radio then on WSBC 1240 AM at 9 a.m. You can turn on the car when you're driving to church, Vincent.
Yeah.
Well, let me add. So on Facebook, we have a Domenica Insieme Facebook page. We have a website which is www.domenicainsieme.com, where you can also watch the stream, and also on my Patrick Capriati Facebook and John Conenna Facebook page.
Facebook, yeah.
And don't forget about Venus Travel. Well,
Yes,
you guys,
please.
I did bring a gift.
Oh.
The tradition, the busy guy cannolis here.
Oh, the cannolis.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me, I gotta
Thank
take
you
this.
so very much.
This is very nice, Vincent.
Scusa. Hello. Oh boy. All right. Yeah. Okay. Bye. I got another appointment.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you guys are the only thing in my schedule. I gotta take off. Grazie, mille grazie.
Prego.
Dove vai?
È un piacere. Thank you
It's
so
not the business. All right, thanks for being
Vince,
here.
thank you so much.